Chaitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 13, text 51. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 13, text 51. And the invocation for the Chaitanya Charitamrita is, you can repeat it. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we're reading from the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 13, entitled The Advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We're starting on text 51. Can everyone hear okay in Zoom?
Perfect. Very nice, thank you.
Thank you. So today is the all-auspicious appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and therefore I thought it was appropriate to read from the 13th chapter, which is entitled The Advent of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I'd just like to chant a few prayers of invocation. Om Agana Tamananda Shachananjana Shalakaya Chakshurulatanjana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My eyes are opened by the torchlight of knowledge. Due to the mercy of my spiritual master, I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Sacha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, his older brother, and I offer my respectful obeisance unto my spiritual master and unto all Vaishnav gurus. Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam, my obeisance unto Rupa Goswami's older brother, Sanatan, and to the others, including Raghunath Das, Jiva Goswami, Sadvaitam, Savadutam, Parijana Sahitam, Krishna Chaitanya Devam, obeisances unto Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, unto Advaita Acharya, unto the Avaduta Nityananda, and unto Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Radha Krishna, Adam Saha, Lalita, Vishakamitam Shah, my obeisances unto Radha and Krishna and the gopis headed by Lalita and Vishaka. My obeisances, humble obeisances unto His Divine Grace, Abhoyacharya Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at His lotus feet in this world. My obeisances unto you, O servant of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. You are kindly spreading the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu throughout the Western worlds, which is filled with Vaishnava. I'd like to offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, those who are present in the temple, those who are present in Zoom. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanabhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. And unto all the Vaishnavas who are present in sound, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, He reasons ill who say Vaishnavas die when thou art living still in sound. Vaishnavas die to live, and living try to spread the holy name around. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So there's a fair amount of verses that I'm hoping to conclude or read today. It's mostly just reading. And we will do just to keep the tradition, we will do the first verse in chant and response format. And then most likely we'll read the other verses. We'll just read the English translation and some of the purports. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 13, text 51. Okay, so please repeat. Adi Lila Sutra Liki Shuna Bhakta Gana. Adi Lila Sutra Liki Shuna Bhakta Gana. Samprike likiye samyak nayaya likana. Adi Lila Sutra Liki Shuna Bhakta Gana. Samkshipe likiye samyak nayaya likana. Adi Lila Sutra Liki Shuna Bhakta Gana. Samkshipe likiye samyak nayaya likana. Have you got? Would you like to try?
Go ahead.
Mataji? Okay. Ready, Kat?
Yes. Adi Lila Sutra Liki Shuna Bhakta Gana. Sankshepe Likiya Samyak Nayaya Likana.
Anyone else? Mona, you're on mute. Anyone else?
Okay. Adi Lila Sutra Liki Sunna Bhakta Gana Sankshepe Likiye Samyak Nayaya Likana.
Anyone else? Okay.
I'm driving.
All right. Do the word for word. Adi Lila. The first part of his pastimes. Sutra Liki. I write a synopsis. Shuna. Hear. Bhaktagana. All you devotees. Samkshepe. In brief. Likiye. I write. Samyak. Full. Na. Not. Yaya. Possible. Likhana. To write. My dear devotees of Lord Chaitanya, let me now write a synopsis of the Adi Lila I write of these pastimes in brief because it is not possible to describe them in full. Continuing reading. To fulfill a particular desire within his mind, Lord Krishna, Brajendra Kumar, decided to descend to this planet after mature contemplation. So just briefly, previous chapters. Actually, this is the 13th chapter of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. 13 chapters of the first Adi Lila. And now we're going to hear about the appearance of Lord Chaitanya after 12 previous chapters. And of course, the 12 previous chapters are a philosophical foundation in order to understand and appreciate and accept that when Lord Chaitanya appears, it is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And of course, it also sets the foundation for the legitimacy of the parampara, the different branches of the Lord Chaitanya tree, etc. So here, Lord Chaitanya, or Lord Krishna, after mature contemplation, and we know from the earlier chapters the reasons why Lord Krishna appeared. And there's external reasons and confidential reasons. And the external reasons was that in every age there's a process, a yuga dharma, for spiritual development or spiritual perfection, you might say. So Lord Chaitanya descended in order to inaugurate or introduce the yuga dharma, which is the chanting of the Hare Krishna movement. And another reason was because he was requested by his devotee, Dvaitacharya. And the third reason was to spread the chanting of the holy names, the Sankirtan movement. So those are three external reasons. And the three internal reasons, and this is probably where the mature contemplation comes in, because the other ones are a matter of course. Okay, now is the time to start the Yuga Dharma. It's kind of like once in a day of Brahma, every 4,320,000,000 years, Lord Chaitanya descends. Lord Krishna descends, and Lord Chaitanya descends shortly after him. So that's kind of like a matter of course. But in this verse, he descends at the planet after mature contemplation, and that mature contemplation is probably more related regarding the internal reasons or the confidential reasons. And one of them is that Lord Krishna, he's wondering, he knows everything, yet he's wondering, how much love does Radharani have for me? I mean, I know everything, but I don't know what she's experiencing, so I want to experience that. And another reason was he's known as the Emperor of Sweetness, and he wants to know, what is it that they experience? Because I can't experience my own sweetness, so what is it like to experience my sweetness? And the one who experiences that the most is Radharani. And the third reason, he was wondering, what is it like to engage in devotional service to me? And the foremost person engaging in devotional service is Srimati Radharani. So those are the confidential reasons. So after mature contemplation, then Lord Krishna decided to descend to this planet after mature contemplation. Lord Krishna first allowed his family of superiors to descend to the earth. I shall try to describe them in brief, because it's not possible to describe them fully. Lord Sri Krishna, before appearing as Lord Chaitanya, requested these devotees to precede him. Sri Sachi Devi, Jagannath Mishra, Madhavinda Puri, Keshava Bharati, Ishvara Puri, Advaitacharya, Srivas Pandit, Acharya Ratna, Vidyanidhi, and Thakur Haridas. So these are some of the devotees that preceded Lord Chaitanya. Sachi Devi was Lord Chaitanya's mother in the past time. Jagannath Mishra was his father. Madhavinda Puri was the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master. So he had to be here first, and then his spiritual master had to be here, Ishvarapuri, Keshava Bharati, and Haridas Thakur. So those are some of the devotees. They're all related to Krishna and Krishna Lila that preceded Lord Chaitanya before Lord Chaitanya came to this planet. There was also Sri Upendra Mishra, a resident of the district of Sri Khata. He was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, a learned scholar, a rich man, and a reservoir of all good qualities. So Upendra Mishra, we know the name Jagannath Mishra, Lord Chaitanya's father. So Upendra Mishra was Lord Chaitanya's grandfather, paternal grandfather. Upendra Mishra had 7 sons who were all saintly and most influential, and then it names the 7 sons. Jagannath Mishra, the 5th son, decided to reside on the bank of the Ganges at Nadia. 5th son was Jagannath Mishra. Jagannath Mishra was designated as Purandar. I'm not sure. I tried to look up this word Purandar, but there's no reference on the word itself in the word for word. Exactly like Nanda Maharaj and Vasudev, he was an ocean of all good qualities. So here, Jagannath Mishra is being compared to Nanda Maharaj and to Vasudev. Vasudev was Krishna's actual, you could say, birth father, even though Krishna and Lord Chaitanya, for that matter, do not take birth like ordinary birth. They just appear. But nonetheless, Jagannath Mishra, the father of Lord Chaitanya, is compared to the father of Lord Krishna and his stepfather, Nanda Maharaj. His wife, this is Jagannath Mishra's wife, Srimati Sachi Devi, was a chaste woman highly devoted to her husband. Sachi Devi's father was named Nilambar, and his surname was Chakravarti. So Nilambar Chakravarti was Lord Chaitanya's maternal grandfather. In Ranadesh, the part of Bengal where the Ganges is not visible, Nityananda Prabhu, Gangadas, Pandit, Murari Gupta, and Mukunda took birth. Once again, these are also associates of Lord Chaitanya who preceded Lord Chaitanya. Lord Krishna, Virjendra Kumara, first caused countless devotees to appear, and at last, he appeared himself. Before the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the devotees of Navadvip used to gather in the house of Advaita Acharya. In these meetings of the Vaishnavas, Advaita Acharya used to recite the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, decrying the paths of philosophical speculation and furtive activity, and establishing the super excellence of devotional service. In all the revealed scriptures of Vedic culture, devotional service to Lord Krishna is explained throughout. Therefore, devotees of Lord Krishna do not recognize the process of philosophical speculation, mystic yoga, unnecessary austerity, and so-called religious rituals. They do not accept any process but devotional service. In all the revealed scriptures of Vedic culture, and just a good reference for this is in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna himself says, Vedas cha sarvam aham vedyo vedanta krit vedavit eva chaham. 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 15th verse, which basically states, all the Vedas are meant for understanding me. I am the compiler of the Vedas and the knower of Vedanta. So all the Vedas are meant for understanding or knowing Krishna. And in this verse, in all the revealed scriptures of Vedic culture, devotional service to Lord Krishna is explained throughout. Here's the purport. Our Krishna consciousness movement follows this principle. We do not recognize any method for spiritual realization other than Krishna consciousness, devotional service. Sometimes we are criticized by groups following Jnana, Yoga, Tapas, or Dharma. But fortunately, we are unable to make any compromises with them. We simply stand on the platform of devotional service and preach the same principles all over the world. Text 66. In the house of the Dvaitacharya, all the Vaishnavas took pleasure in always talking of Krishna, always worshipping Krishna, and always chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So, Krishna Katha, Krishna Puja, Nama Sankirtan. Krishna Katha talks about Krishna, worship Krishna, and Nama Sankirtan. The names. Purport. On these principles only does the Krishna consciousness movement go on. We have no business other than to talk of Krishna, worship Krishna, and chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That's our business. That's the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. International Society for Krishna Consciousness is growing in leaps and bounds. It started, you could say, with Bhaktivinoda Thakur as a pioneer, and then handing it off to Bhaktisiddhanta, who started the Gaudiya Math. And then Srila Prabhupada, following the direction and order of his spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta, started the Hare Krishna movement. Well, commonly known as Hare Krishna movement. The whole movement, right from the beginning, is the Hare Krishna movement. And the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, which was started in 1966, July, in New York, in a small storefront on the Lower East Side of New York, that's where the society started. And the International Society for Krishna Consciousness is actually an extension of Bhaktisiddhanta's mission, which is the Gaudiya Math. And simply by this very adhering strictly to these principles, talking about Krishna, chanting Krishna's name, and worshiping Krishna, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness of the Sankirtan movement is spreading miraculously when you consider where it all started from. One simple little temple in the Lower East Side of New York, and now there's over 800 centers worldwide and continuing to grow. But Sri Advaitacharya Pandit, text 67, felt pain to see all the people without Krishna consciousness simply merging in material sense enjoyment. Seeing the condition of the world, he began to think seriously of how all these people could be delivered from the clutches of Maya. Sri Advaitacharya Prabhu thought, if Krishna himself appears in order to distribute the cult of devotional service, then only will liberation be possible for all people. So here we could see that Advaitacharya, he was concerned because people were performing jhana, performing yoga, performing all the different things, but nobody was actually interested in the cult of devotional service. They were performing pious activities, and Advaitacharya thought that only Krishna can actually alleviate the conditioned. There's a purport here. Just as a condemned person can be relieved by a special favor of the chief executive head, the president or king, so the condemned people of the Kali Yuga can be delivered only by the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, or a person especially empowered for this purpose. Srila Advaitacharya Prabhu desired that the Supreme Personality of Godhead advent himself to deliver the fallen souls of the age. Text 78. With this consideration, Advaitacharya Prabhu, promising to cause Lord Krishna to descend, began to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, with tulsi leaves and water of the Ganges. Tulsi leaves and Ganges water purport, with, if possible, a little pulp of sandalwood, is sufficient paraphernalia to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 9:26, Patram pushpam palam toyam yo me bhakta pranishati. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. Following this principle, Advaita Acharya pleased the Supreme Personality of Godhead with Tulsi leaves and water of the Ganges. Of course, if one has more means and can offer more paraphernalia, then it's certainly recommended. But the bottom or the main principle is not so much what we're worshiping, but the mood in which we're doing it. And that mood is bhakti. Text 71. By loud cries, he invited Krishna to appear. And this repeated invitation attracted Lord Krishna to descend. Before the birth of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 8 daughters took birth, one after another, from the womb of Sachi Mata, the wife of Jagannath Mishra. But just after their birth, they all died. Does that sound familiar? Right? When Krishna appeared, before Krishna appeared, they were all the children of Sachi, Devaki, thank you. Devaki, they were actually killed by the atrocious Kamsa because at the marriage wedding of Devaki and Vasudev, they were going home, and Kamsa, who was the cousin of Devaki, was taking them home on a chariot, which is the custom. After the wedding, they go home with usually the wife, one of the relatives of the wife, close relative, brother, like that. So she feels a little bit comfortable in the presence of her new husband. And as they're on the chariot, then out of the ether, this oracle, this sound came announcing that Kamsa, you're driving this woman on your chariot, but her 8th child is going to kill you. So Kamsa was immediately going to kill her, but Vasudeva intervened with logic, reason. We won't get into that detail. We'll save that for August. And but then, as each child was born in a prison, because Kamsa put Devaki and Vasudeva in prison, worried about one of the children could be the one to kill him. He killed all of the 7 preceding children of Devaki. And then the 8th was Lord Krishna, the 8th child. And here, before Lord Chaitanya, there were 8 daughters, and they all died. Stillborn, perhaps. There's no detail here, at least. And there's some reason related to previous life, just like each one of the children that were killed by Krishna, they were by Kamsa, the children of Devaki. They were like the 8 Vasus or something, and there's some pastime previously that they engaged in and committed some, I don't remember the detail, but similarly, the same thing happened, similar with with Sachi and Jagannath Mishra's children. Therefore, it said that a wise person, Bhagavad Gita, laments neither for the living nor for the dead. Because of karma, because of previous engagements, previous drama, sometimes tragic things happened. So a wise person laments neither for the living nor for the dead. However, they are compassionate. It's a little bit different. It's not like being hard-hearted, that you don't care, especially for the people who may not be aware or understand the tragedy that they have to face. So a saintly person, he's somewhat indifferent, but at the same time, being warm-hearted, he's also compassionate, and expresses that. Even the great Vaishnav Narottam Das Thakur, who has full realization about being wise, neither lamenting for the wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead, but still in his bhajan about Lord Chaitanya and Lord Chaitanya's associates, he's lamenting that they're no longer present, feeling great pain of separation. So much so, he figures it's easier to enter the fire than to remain living without their association. So there's a fine, delicate balance between lamenting neither for the living, neither for the dead. And it takes a considerable amount of maturity to be able to, walk that line. Text 74, after this, Jagat Mishra got a son, the name Vishvarupa, who was most powerful and highly qualified because he was an incarnation of Baladev. It's interesting to note that on the appearance, if I recall correctly, the appearance of Vishvarupa, Lord Chaitanya's older brother, was the day that Srila Prabhupada took sannyas. It's the same day. Correct? Purport, Vishvarupa was the elder brother of Gaura Hari, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When arrangements were being made for the marriage of Vishvarupa, he took sannyas and left home. He took the sannyas name of Shankarayanya. In 1431, Sakaba era, or 1509, he disappeared in Pandarapur, in the district of Sholpur. As an incarnation of Shankarshan, he is both the ingredient and the immediate cause of creation of the material world. He is non-different from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For the Amsa and the Amshi, or the part and the whole, are non-different. As an incarnation of Shankarshan, Vishvarupa belongs to the quadruple expansion of Chatra Vyuha. In the Goro Chandra Dodiya, it is said that Vishvarupa, after his so-called demise, remained mixed within Sri Nityananda Prabhu. I'm not going to try to explain that. Previously, there was, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there was some more definition about these different expansions, etc. And then the Srimad Bhagavatam further explains how the material world is created and all these different aspects. Not to get too distracted on what we're trying to achieve here. Text 75. The expansion of Baladev, known as Sankarshan, in the spiritual world is the ingredient and immediate cause of this material cosmic manifestation. The gigantic universal form is called Vishvarupa, incarnation of Mahashankarshan. Thus, we do not find anything within this cosmic manifestation except the Lord himself. As the threads in a cloth spread both lengthways and breadthwise, so the Supreme Personality of Godhead exists directly and indirectly within everything we see in this cosmic manifestation. This is not very wonderful for him. This is a quote from Bhagavatam, 10th canto. Because Mahashankarshan is the ingredient and efficient cause of the cosmic manifestation, he is present in every detail of it. Lord Chaitanya therefore called him his elder brother. The two brothers are known as Krishna and Balaram in the spiritual world, but at the present moment they are Chaitanya and Nitai. Therefore, the conclusion is that Nityananda Prabhu is the original Shankarshan, Baladev. Text 79. The husband and wife, Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata, having gotten Vishvarupa as their son, were very pleased within their minds. Because of their pleasure, they specifically began to serve the lotus feet of Govinda. It's interesting. You can just imagine what kind of experience they had. They had eight children that all died, and sometimes, especially when devoted people go through some serious trauma. Sometimes they just give up on devotional service. And now they have a son, and so they were so pleased, they specifically began to worship or serve the lotus feet of Govinda. Sometimes something like that can, I'm not saying that was the case with them, is that they gave up their devotion because of all the trauma. A very strong, steady devotee, nothing can dissuade him. Right? Ashli Shava Padamratam Panarshama Darshanamama Karotula. I know no one but Krishna is my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, such as killing 8 children, my 8 babies, or making me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He's completely free to do anything and everything, for he's always my worshipable Lord. And that's someone who has advanced, strong faith. But those who may not have such strong faith, undergoing trauma, they often give up. Oh, there's no God. Just like Prabhupada gives the example in the trenches in the first war, the Allies and the enemy, they're both praying to God. The wives and the daughters, they're praying, oh, please send my husband home. Please send my son home. Please send my brother home. And when they died, they all became atheists on both sides. That's because they have a weak understanding. So in the case of Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra, certainly they had strong faith. But when Vishwarupa appeared, they had the stronger sense of worshiping Govinda, or serving Govinda with more enthusiasm. Text 80. In the month of January, in the year 1406 of the Shaka era, 1485, Lord Krishna entered the bodies of both Jagannath Mishra and Sachi. Purport. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took his birth in the year 1407, Shaka era, AD, 1486, in the month of Falgun. This is the month of Falgun. But here we see that he entered the bodies of his parents in the year 1406, in the month of Magha, or more than a year earlier. Therefore, the Lord entered the bodies of his parents 13 full months before his birth. Generally, a common child remains within the womb of his mother for 10 lunar months. But here we see that the Lord remained within the body of his mother for 13 months. Translation. Jagannath Mishra said to Sachimata, I see wonderful things. Your body is effulgent, and it appears as if the goddess of fortune were now staying personally in my home. Anywhere and everywhere I go, all people offer me respect. Even without my asking, they voluntarily give me riches, clothing, and paddy. Sachimata told her husband, I see brilliant human beings appearing in outer space as if offering prayers. Purport. Jagannath Mishra was honored by everyone on the earth and was supplied with all necessities. Similarly, Mother Sachi saw many demigods in outer space offering prayers to her because of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's presence in her womb. It's described elsewhere that during this time, the advent of Lord Chaitanya and the active Sankirtan movement that's going to take place for 10,000 years, that the demigods, they're actually lining up to take birth in this movement. Jagannath Mishra, text 84, then replied, in a dream I saw the effulgent abode of the Lord enter my heart. From my heart it entered your heart. I therefore understand that a great personality will soon take birth. Very similar to Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna enters into the mind of Vasudeva, and then it's transferred from the heart to Devaki. Same with Lord Chaitanya. And if we analyze even, let's say, you could say Christianity, for instance, Lord Jesus is supposed to have taken what is known as immaculate conception. In other words, there was no actual physical conception, so a similar process could have possibly taken place. In our understanding, it's not it's not exclusively, or it's not exclusive, but it's not overly common, but it's not exclusive either. After text 86, after this conversation, both husband and wife were very jubilant, and together they rendered service to the household Shalagram Shila. In this way, the pregnancy approached its 13th month, but still there was no sign of delivery of the child. Thus, Jagannath Mishra became greatly apprehensive. Lila Chakrabarti, the grandfather of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his maternal grandfather, then did an astrological calculation and said that in that very month, 13th month, taking advantage of an auspicious moment, the child would take birth. Thus, in the year 1407 of the Shaka era AD, 1486, in the month of Falgun, February, March, in the evening of the full moon, the desired auspicious moment arrived. And so, on this day, the month of Falgun, in the evening, the auspicious anniversary appearance of Lord Chaitanya is going to take place. 1486, 2025, what is it, 540, any quick mathematicians? 40? Yeah. 1486, 2025, 41 years? No. Oh, 40 plus 25? Anyway, that's 540 plus, or 541, I think. 541 years ago. Wow, 41 years. I remember the big deal when it was the 100th anniversary of Lord Chaitanya. All the devotees, practically every devotee went to Mayapur that year on the 100th anniversary. 1986. Excuse me, the 500, thank you. No, I wasn't there. No, but yeah, maybe, I doubt it. Yeah, 500, the 500th anniversary, I mean, that's like half a millennium. 500, and practically all the devotees went to Mayapur, but I wasn't allowed to go. Somebody has to stay back. But it was great because I was performing Sankirtan every day. That's when Dudidar came back as a sannyasi. 1486, he got sannyas. Sridhar Swami visited here then. It was the first opportunity I had to do Sankirtan with Sridhar Swami. And then I had the privilege of going the following year. But it was a bit of a disappointment. You know, when all your fellow friends and devotees are all going, but at that time I was a fully dependent brahmachari, depending on the mercy of the society, and therefore it was more of a it was more of a martialistic, like an army. You know, you had your generals, your different ranks, and the brahmacharis kind of like the newer brahmacharis are kind of like the low rung of the rank. So. And it's like you followed your authorities. Sankirtan leader, you follow him. Sankirtan leader follows the temple president. Temple president follows GBC. GBC follows the Acharya, like that. So it was a very, that's how the system was. And it was actually quite powerful when it came to increasing and spreading Krishna consciousness. But now it's being spread in a different manner, and not necessarily any less powerful, if not more so, from some perspectives. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this is a purport, and it is Amrita Pravaha Vasya has presented the horoscope of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I'm not going to get into it, but the horoscope is there. Imagine that, you know, the horoscope of God. According to the Jyoti Veda, or Vedic astrology, the auspicious birth moment is described as follows. The moon was in Leo, the figure of the lion in the zodiac. Leo was the ascendant. Several planets were strongly positioned, and the Sattvarga and Astavarga showed all auspicious influences. And then there's another purport with more details from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, who was a great astrologer and astronomer. But I won't get into the technical stuff. When the spotless moon of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became visible, what would be the need for a moon full of black marks on its body? So now it's being described why there was a lunar eclipse. Considering this, Rahu, the black planet, covered the full moon, and immediately vibrations of Krishna, Krishna, Hare inundated the three worlds. So when there's an eclipse, a lunar eclipse, it's considered inauspicious. And when things are inauspicious, then saintly persons, they perform certain spiritual rituals to counteract the influence of the eclipse, and thus be the case. So they were all chanting the names of Krishna. All the Hindus were chanting the names of Krishna. All people thus chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra during the lunar eclipse, and their minds were struck with wonder. When the whole world was thus chanting the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, in the form of Gaurahari, advented himself on the earth. The whole world was pleased. While the Hindus chanted the holy name of the Lord, the non-Hindus, especially the Muslims, jokingly imitated the words. While all the ladies vibrated the holy name of Hari on earth, in the heavenly planets, dancing and music were going on, for the demigods were very curious. In this atmosphere, all the 10 directions became jubilant, as did the waves of the rivers. Moreover, all beings moving and non-moving were overwhelmed with transcendental bliss. Thus, by his causeless mercy, the full moon, Gaurahari, rose in the district of Nadia, which is compared to Udayagiri, where the sun first becomes visible. His rising in the sky dissipated the darkness of sinful life, and thus the three worlds became joyful and chanted the holy name of the Lord.